Welcome to the Advice Show, media with a common sense approach. So Black Lives Matter is very upset with the Democratic Party right now because they were exposed through a hacker, and this hacker released an email detailing how to address, how to handle Black Lives Matter, how to pacify them, and an assessment on the group, and even give them talking points to how to deal with Black Lives Matter. See, I love every minute of this because I've been saying that the black community, we need to have a divorce, a complete divorce of the Democratic Party. No, I'm not telling you to go be a Republican either. I don't side with political parties, so we go ahead and clear that up. I side with ideas. I side with, are you going to create policies in our interest? That's what I side with. So that way you got to come to us and correct. But we voting wholesale for the Democrats that haven't done nothing for us as a black community, has been done nothing but harm us, has incarcerated a whole generation of our men, has kept our people down with all these programs that's not meant to help us get up. That's the issues that I'm having. So I'm glad these young people are starting to see how the Democrats really are. But let's go ahead and expose them for a minute. Oh, the hacker exposed, and we're going to just report on it. So it says here, as you can see, presidential candidates have struggled to respond to tactics of the Black Lives Matter movement. While there has been little engagement with House candidates and campaign staff should be prepared. Now they telling you who it's supposed to go to and X, Y, and Z. Okay, background. What does BLM want? Radical movement to end anti-black racism. Let's just stop right there. It is radical for you to say, stop killing us in the street. It's radical for you to say, treat me like you treat everybody else. It's radical to say, hey, stop giving us more jail sentences than you give our white counterpart for the same crime. That's radical. It's radical to say, don't kill us like you did Tamir Rice. That's radical. This is the Democrats, mind you. This is not the conservatives. This is the Democrats that we've been voting for the past 50 years. Continuing. Though police abuses are a central component, the founders view the movement more broadly. Criminal justice system reform, sentencing reform, in the prison industrial complex, police reform referring to hiring, training, and unfair police tactics, and into police brutality, the killings of unarmed African Americans, the impetus of the movement being the acquittal of George Zimmerman, collect data on police shootings, demilitarization of the police. Okay, so that's their assessment of Black Lives Matter. Nothing of that was really positive. I think, like I said before, the most horrible things is they saying is you are a radical movement because you want to end anti-black racism. And you're radical because of that. Now, the tactics. Meet with local activists. If approached by Black Lives Matter activists, campaign staff should offer to meet with local activists. Invited Black Lives Matter activists should be limited. Please aim for personal or small group meetings. First bullet point, listen to their concerns. Don't offer support for concrete policy positions. Frontline district staff should meet with activists. Now, the most important thing at those bullet points that black people need to pay attention to is don't offer support for concrete policy positions. Basically, I'm going to listen to you. It's going to go in one ear and out the other. And I'm going to BS you and your time. I'm not going to put on paper, okay, we're going to stop this prison industrial complex. And this is how. A, we're going to do this. B, we're going to do this. C, we're going to do that. You see that, black people? This is what they do to you. They've been doing this mess to you. Our community has not been great at all. It's been just spiraling down further and further and further. And it's because these Democrats sit up here and say they're your friend. They say they feel your plight. We need to have a conversation on race. This is what they say. And at the end of the day, we get nothing. We get nothing at all as a community. But we go there and we be slaves to them and vote for them wholeheartedly. Now, continuing to the next piece of evidence here. Now, the message. Do not say all lives matter, nor mention black on black crime. These are all viewed as red herring attacks. This response will garner additional media scrutiny and only anger Black Lives Matter activists. This is the worst response. So even telling them what not to say to them to piss them off. Now, what to say to media and activists? This is the playbook here. I want y'all to hear this. Many communities in America feel unfairly targeted by police, and it's an issue that requires addressing, evidenced by the DOJ Ferguson report. Explore reforms to ensure officers are properly trained and don't infringe on citizens' rights. Hold police accountable to their actions when it's a clear case of wrongdoing. Rebuild the relationship between police and community, ensuring officers are not just in the community when something bad is happening. A history of systemic racism continues to confront the daily lives of African Americans. This country must look for ways to address this legacy and make sure African Americans feel they are treated with fairness and dignity. The BS playbook. And Black Lives Matter got upset. And they were saying that they are very tired of the Democratic Party pacifying them. Now they want to revolt against the Democratic Party. And what I say is, bravo, Black Lives Matter, bravo. I'm glad that you got to see it for yourself. They're not our friends. You can't point to me one thing they all have been doing to help us at all as a community. Our communities are looking bad. We aren't getting loans or grants for small businesses. I don't want no program like food stamps. I want a program for small businesses to get loans and grants. That way we can create jobs in our community and make things better. I want to hear a concrete policy on, look, we're going to go in there with the National Guard in these bad areas and get all the criminals out. That's what I want to hear, because if they can bring out the National Guard when you're out there riding, then for sure they can bring the National Guard out there when you can't walk down the street without being harassed by somebody or getting caught in some sort of gunfire. They can do that if they want to. They just don't. And you look at a city like Chicago, okay? Chicago is a city that has been controlled by the Democratic Party for a long time. Rahm Emanuel was in the White House with Obama. And look at it. That is horrible what happens to the people in Chicago. There's so many innocent people there losing their lives every day. They haven't done anything to nobody. They're not part of that mess. And it's a failure of the Democratic Party and the state government to sit here and allow that to happen. The National Guard should have went in and cleaned that mess up. And it's also racial, because if them same thugs will go up there to the rich area in Chicago and want to pull that same stunt, watch how quick Chicago police, the National Guard, the state police will shut all that mess down if they're terrorizing the good white people in these areas. No, that's fine to go ahead and kill you off, but you better not go up there to the rich area where the white folks at and do that mess. See, it's all racial. The Democrats are highly racist in a lot of ways against us. You talk about the conservatives. You know one thing I respect about the conservatives? At least they up front. At least they let me know what they got going on. So I'm not fooled by them. But these liberals, they'll come up to you saying, I'm your friend. I feel your plight. Poor Mike Brown. Poor Tamir Rice. Poor, Sandra Bland. And then they no different than them at their house, the conservatives. So the question is now, Black Lives Matter and their supporters, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Are you going to go and vote for Hillary Clinton and the Democrats in the next few months? What are you going to do? Because don't say you're mad. Turn your anger into action at the voting booth. All of you, or anybody who is sympathized with Black Lives Matter and what they fight for Black lives. You see, you have to understand Black Lives Matter. This is what I was trying to tell y'all in that other interview. These white liberal groups that's trying to come in and give you all this money, they want to control you and make you a controlled opposition. They don't care about the lives of the black man, black woman, the black child. They don't care. They just want to make sure they get your votes, and then they disappear. You don't see them anymore until the next 4 years. That's just really how it is, ladies and gentlemen. We have to accept this harsh reality. Because one thing about me, I cannot idly stand by and watch people do our community wrong like this and don't say anything. Now, you could talk about Trump. It ain't about Trump or me. It ain't about none of that mess. It's about the Democrats right now and what they've been doing to us. We just had Barack Obama for almost 8 years, and we ain't got nothing. We don't have nothing to show for it. We sit here and watch him do for everybody except us. And then we ask him to do something. He's the president of everybody, not just the president of black people. No, duh. But still, we can't ask for nothing, but everybody else got something out of the president. So I guess who would vote for Hillary and get another 8 years of that? I mean, y'all vote Democrat if you want to. It's your business. But for me, I'm sick of our people being hoodwinked and bamboozled. I'm sick of that. And the Democratic Party, I can't fool with them. I'm just trying to put out the information so you could know what we are dealing with. Make sure you join us on our Patreon. We ask if you make a $5 pledge once a month to our Patreon. It really helps us to continue to bring more content. Hit me up in the comments, use your commentaries, subscribe.